Welcome to B2B Synergy, the Power Partners USA podcast, your exclusive guide to discovering the potential of B2B partnerships. I'm Alan Armijo, owner of Power Partners USA business-to-business introduction and referral service. Our members are B2B professionals who team up to provide each other repeat referral business or collaboration. Today's episode shines a light on Arlene Moran. Arlene is owner of OptionOne Care, and I've known Arlene for a long time. Hi, Arlene.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Good. I'm really looking forward to this conversation or to get a better understanding of your work in home care services and a little bit about your nursing registry.
Okay.
Okay. Well, could you just kind of explain your services at OptionOne Care?
Okay. OptionOne Care is a licensed home care agency in California. We are licensed, bonded, and insured. So what we do is we provide non-medical. So there's a difference. This is for a non-medical needs of the elderly or anybody who needs help in their daily living. So we help them if they need changing diapers or assistance in walking, meal prep and all that. So we go to their house, like my caregivers will go there. Or we can also provide sitters in a facility, which we only make sure that the client is safe. So we do a lot of private, scenarios and also on facilities, mostly like memory care, skilled nursing. No.
So your home care services can work in a residential house, right, as well as a skilled nursing facility?
And retirement homes,
Okay.
those big retirement homes wherein the elderly is in their own housing within the facility. And
Right.
we do hourly or daily.
Okay. Are there a lot of state regulations you have to follow?
Yes, we need to make sure that we are compliant in regards to our employees. They need to be background checked by the Department of Justice. They need to have CPR, proper identification, and all those employment paperwork. So, because they have the California, the state will have to do yearly unannounced visit to our office and make sure that proper documentations are intact, both with the clients and with our employees.
And how many employees do you have currently?
Currently, for the in-home, we shared employees with my with the sister company, the Optimum Nursing. So we currently have over 100 nurses working for us, both for non-skilled, both for medical and non-medical.
Okay, so let's touch on the nursing registry, just so that people know that you also have this service and where it kind of applies. At what point does it come in a placement of a nurse?
Yes, because sometimes when we go to skilled nursing, for example, if what the client needs is medication, when they go to the house, sometimes they need like morphine or something. A non-medical employee cannot administer medications. So we have to send somebody who is licensed to administer medications. So that's where Optimum is, because we have registered nurses, licensed vocational nurses, CNAs, which is certified nursing assistants. What we do is we provide employees to facilities, to help them with, like LVNs, what they do is give medications. And we also provide a lot of registered nurse so they can supervise the LVNs. And what we cater mostly for Optimum are like big facilities, like from 59 beds to 300 beds. We also provide nurses to detox centers.
Wow. So when somebody wants to reach out to you, what is like the onboarding process? Is it you that they go through to determine whether it's for OptionOne Care non-medical versus Optimum, which requires a licensed nurse?
Yes, me and my head nurse will determine on the needs, because we want to follow the legality, because we don't want to send unlicensed nurse to a client that needs medication. That's illegal. So we have to make sure that If it's just a need, help on a daily need, like walking or just be there to make sure the client is safe, then we can provide caregiver, wherein they are just there to help them. But if they need like medication, example, if there's a hospice patient in a house, example, and the client needs to get the morphine or something, then we need to send a licensed nurse on that. And
Okay.
example, fixing the G tube or something.
Okay. So what is your territory? What areas do you cover?
We cover uh, um, OC, Los Angeles area, San Bernardino County, and mostly, yeah, Southern California. We're trying to expand to San Diego, but not yet.
Okay. All righty. Now, how do you identify and get these trained employees and certified employees? Is certification the word, or is it licensed? Or
For the nurses, for the RN, it needs to be a license. They need to do like rigorous degree and everything. But so for that, we just get their credentials, check the OIG to make sure that their record are clean, check the license if there's no probation or anything. So just to make sure that they are clean, and then
Mhm.
referral from previous and current employers. Because as a registry, they can still work somewhere else. If you are an employee of the registry, you can work with 5 registries as a nurse. Or they can have like the regular job and then they just do it as a part-time. So we need to make sure that their licenses are up to date, all the vaccination, CPR, and all that, and they don't have any record on their file. As caregivers, experience plus we are tied up with a school for. It's not actually it's a training for caregivers, so we have that, and they can do it 24/7. My staff, I train them. There's like 500 courses that they can take, but we mandatory are elderly abuse. They have to take that. If we have dementia patients, then they need to do the training first for dementia, how to handle it. So it depends on the patient or the client. What kind of client are they going to be handling? Then we have a mandatory training for them that they can access 24/7. And then we get the certificate once they finish it. And then we can send it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your clients and why they would call you. What makes you different or from other home care services, for instance, where they, is it a time crunch? They need somebody quickly, So let me know who your clients are and kind of why are they working with you?
Most of my clients are referrals from previous clients and from my employees too. So the difference that we have from any other agency is that we have a personal touch on it. They call and I answer the phone. And if I have to refer them to my nurse because there's always going to be issues sometimes. It's 24/7. Oh, the caregiver is late. What do you do about it? Or there's an emergency. They have a flat tire. Who's going to take care of the patient? So we're on top of it. Every time there's an issue like that, we are right away, like we send somebody else, to take care. We have to do that because it's our responsibility. There's a difference when you are dealing with an agency instead of like direct hire, because when there's an emergency, like the caregiver cannot make it, then we send people right away. We send a replacement right away. Or
Right.
if there's a problem, then we resolve the issue right away. I do that like any time of the night or day.
Okay. And then give me a scenario where the process when, say, a skilled nursing facility, is it usually they're doing a discharge, right? And the person still
Yeah.
needs some more care or a hospital. How long does it take you to evaluate that, what the care is so that you can send the right person?
Okay. When they call me, the skilled nursing call me, oh, this patient that we have, she's going to go home or he's going to go home. So he still need help. Then they give me the family's information. So we call the family and then we do the initial phone interview with them. What level of help do you need for your parents? Do we need to assist him in the bed? You know, does he get up all the time or put in the wheelchair? Because, like, if a patient is like 200 pounds, example, no,
Mm-hmm.
and he needs to get up from the bed and assist to the wheelchair, I'm not going to be sending a petite girl in there because he might have an accident, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to match the caregiver to the client's need. And normally, if after the initial interview, then I meet them in person, the patient and the family, and then we do the proper assessment. We talk about the rates and everything, and then we schedule and we send at least one or two caregivers that we think will match, and they can choose which one, you know, because it needs to. They need to meet the patient first.
They meet them in person?
Yeah, they meet them in person. I introduce them because it's important that they have a feel of the caretaker, you know,
Sure.
because they're gonna be there. You don't want to send somebody that they're gonna be super unhappy, you know, because it's gonna affect their behavior. Okay, for instance, there's this client I have her for 4 years now. Initially, she didn't want a woman caregiver. She didn't like a guy because she had to take a bath and assist her in bathing, like not totally assist, but watch.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I prefer the woman. But at that time, the only woman available doesn't drive and she needs driving. So I introduce him to a guy and I make sure that I selected a guy who looks like an angel and everything. So when I took him, we tried for a day. We convinced him, me and the son convinced him to try. But she loves him. She easily trusted him, and until now in Lakewood, he goes there from 3 days before. It used to be 3 days only. Now he goes full time, 5 days a week, and she
Right.
never want to change
What
caregiver.
what is it in the personality of a caregiver that you're looking for? Are you able to hire based on their like
Well,
how do you know that they're good?
well, first I need to see that they have compassion because without compassion and they're just doing it for money, it's not going to work. And you will know that when you interview a prospective caregiver, then I will have a feel if they are just doing it for money. Because if they are just doing it for money, it's not gonna be a good caretaking because they're gonna be like watching the time or I mean you if
I
you make
Arlene,
research, you will hear a lot of stories about caregivers punching the patient and everything. And that's not me. I when they take care, I want them to have
yeah,
compassion for
I
the caregiver.
I
So
asked
for that
because
fine.
I was sitting in a medical waiting room and a caregiver was willing a person in, an elderly lady, and every time the elderly lady asked for something, she was like roll her eyes and kind of like, "Oh God," or
Yes.
even when they called her into the like, "Your turn, Mrs. Johnson," and
Mhm.
she like rolled her eyes because she had to get up and push her in. I'm like, "This is a
Yeah.
terrible."
Yeah, those are the type of caregivers that you don't wanna be in your wings because first of all, it's dangerous because if something happened to the patient, then it's our liability as an agency
Mhm.
because we send them there. Second of all, if it's like a long term and they have to stay in the house for a long time, you need to make a thorough background check because you don't want to, because they have stuff in the house. You don't want somebody who can steal their stuff, you know?
Right.
And sometimes it happens, you know, I heard stories about it. So I'm very careful in selecting caregivers. It has to be somebody that the person that I know knows and trusts, you know. So I do by referral. I don't just for caregivers. I don't hire via Indeed or something.
Mhm.
I hired through referral from
So they
employees or somebody. You know.
yeah, they have to be recommended. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
they have to be highly recommended.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about your client makeup. How long have you been had these agencies?
Well, I have it since 2021, but you know, as a Filipino, I'm exposed to this kind. I I've been like an agency for 15 years. The difference is I just started making money on 2021 because prior to that, I just referred employees to agencies or referred clients to agencies because I didn't have time that time because
Right.
It's not for me. It's not the job. But
So
when I found out,
it's like you were kind of getting familiar with the industry before you kind of started your own agent.
oh yeah, every time they ask me, why don't you just put your own agency? Since you know a lot of people, you know a lot of caregivers, you know client, because they when I used to have a restaurant, they keep referring me like clients and caregivers. You know, like I'm an employment agency, so I just refer them. And then when I sold it, and then I started with a registry with the licensed nurses. I was thinking, what do I need to do now? Because real estate is down. You know, I don't like to go out because of COVID. I'm very sensitive with infection. So what can I do in the comfort of my home right now? And then I had a friend who helped me. She's a consultant for registry. So she taught me how to do it. And that's when I started. But I started at a good time because that time there's a lot of need
Hmm.
for this. And then,
Was there
so,
still a lot of there's still a lot of need, right?
oh, there's still a lot of need. It's just growing. You know, right now we
There's more
do the,
competition, it seems like, right now.
yeah, actually, is there's a lot of competition in the market, but also there's a lot of opportunities. So you will never run out. You know, it's just depend on how you work it and how you handle it and how you follow up and how you treat your employees, because without the employees then you don't have a business, you know. So I take good care of my employees. That's number one. We need to be taking care of them so they don't leave you or they stay loyal to you. So I never lost employee because they went somewhere else. There's people that still works since 2021. My pioneers are still there. And that's how I grow because they keep on referring people,
Oh,
you
good.
know?
Good. Well, let's talk about, specific clients so that people know what kind of communities, facilities, families you work with. I think it's big and small, right? So why don't you
Yes.
just kind of give an overview of your client type?
Okay. Right now, I have for the nursing registry, which is Optimum, I'm working with 8 facilities right now. It ranges at least 59 beds each facility, and 2 of them are 300 beds, you know? So that's where we get busy. I mean, there's downtime and there's busy times. Any other business, but we're always busy. When this one gets less busy, then there's a new one that becomes busy. Because sometimes of the budget,
Mm.
like they close their budget in October, so right now they're like, oh, okay, September. So right now they're still waiting for the budget, so they take it easy, and then next week they're gonna start asking for nurses again. Like we have one facility right now in La Puente that basically all the nurses there are from my agency. And I was like, and then I saw the timesheet and I was like, oh my God, I have my own facility now because all these people working here 24/7 are my employees. You build a good relationship with them. When you earn their trust, and you have to earn their trust.
Does it start with just one? Like, have you got into these with just like the first one and then a second one and a third one? Like, because what is the easiest way to break into a new community or facility?
Well, first of all, you cannot just walk in without knowing anybody. That's what I learned. But you need to keep on coming and explaining them that you have to try us because we can. And then obviously, when they give you a shot,
Hmm.
send them the best one that you got. So I reserve those people. I have one that she goes as the initial nurse for every facility that I get because she's an amazing nurse. And then we just take care of them because we get, the thing is that I never experienced really with the nursing, no? Like going to the facility and market my company. The thing is, maybe I just met good people, and then because the director of nursing or the administrator, they move from one facility to other. So if they know how you work, they will bring you to the next facility that they go. They will call you, oh, Arlene, I'm going to introduce you to the development director, staffing development, and then just work with her, you know?
Right.
So it's really about the reputation at the end of the day, you know? If you have a
Right. Right.
good reputation, then they will call you, they will know you.
It's kind of like anything else in sales and business where they have to know you, trust you, like you.
Yeah.
But in your case, they also have to, you're also bringing the element of, medical care or home care, which is highly personal.
Yeah, like I started like with nurses, right? Like in one facility, like right now it's like three facilities that I started with only licensed nurses. But now they gave me also the non-medical needs, like sitters for caregivers.
Hmm.
I have a facility that I provide them like with five caregivers at a time, 24/7, you know?
Okay, good. All right. Can we talk about cost of services?
The cost of services for each for the Optimum, it ranges like, and I don't charge individually for Optimum. It's more like a corporate level. So so
The
but
Optimum, just to be clear, Optimum is the nursing registry.
that national agency. Now for the option one, which is the non-medical need for like individual, mostly family pays for it, you know. So I like what I want for my caregivers to have compassion. I also have compassion for when I interview a client for their family. I try to like negotiate in a way that if I were in their position and they really need it, what will oh, I hope God will help me, like, so it ranges between $28 to $35,
And I want to
depending
put I
on
want to
the
put a date. I want to put a date on this today. What we're in October
my
18th.
18, yeah.
Yeah, just your rate is how much for option one?
For option one, it ranges between $28 to $35.
And is that like a standard or is that better?
Yeah, that's better than most. They are always on the higher level of 35.
Right.
They were asking me actually, how do you even make it at 28 because of all the payroll taxes and all that?
Mm.
Well, if you only have one patient at 35, and I guess if you have five at 28, then which one makes more money, right?
Right. Right.
It's a volume, you know?
Right. And but mm, the family, the facility can negotiate with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, both the facility and the family can negotiate with me. When we're talking about home needs in the house, in their own residence, mostly family covers it unless they have a long-term insurance. With the long-term insurance, then it's fine. They don't really, I let that kick in without sometimes burdening the family about the additional payment.
Right.
And sometimes it's not enough. But if I can make it anyway with just the long term insurance, then that's fine.
Okay. And then so there is no like insurance coverage other than long-term care for home care.
Yeah, and then sometimes with what do you call this IHSS, which is the government funded.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that one, the caregivers have to undergo training with the county.
Oh, okay. But then the nursing register, the facilities are just paying out directly. It's not
Yeah, they are paying directly. Yeah, it's
okay,
a it's
contract, right?
yeah, it's a contract because sometimes it's not worth it for them to pay payroll tax, workers' comp. Because sometimes their needs is less than what they have. Because the census for the facility, it changes every time. So if they have very low census and then you have your own employees and a lot of them are gonna be like bystanders, then it's a lot of money lost for them. So, or they have their own employees, but they have projection of hours every month and they still have a need for additional without paying workers' comp. So I shoulder all that, the workers' comp and everything. They have to pay a little bit more on the rate compared to if they are their own employees, but at the end of the day, they still win because it's a win-win for both of us because they avoid payroll taxes and all that.
Well, would you say one of the biggest problems you solve for some of your clients or what these facilities need in terms of help
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Because there's an app that my nurse monitors every time, and then she see what they need. There's a big agency that you cannot talk to any person, and the rates are very low. So she monitors it and she look at what facilities they have a need, and then we contact them and everything. But normally, that's what I said. When you build a relationship with a facility, they give you the monthly schedule already. They give you the monthly schedule or the weekly schedule. It's very rare that there's two facilities that we are bystanders, like on call. Oh, tomorrow we need three RNs, three LVNs, and one RN, 12 to 12. It's you need to have a good scheduler because
right. So
sometimes
it's not just you that's doing this. You
no, no,
have
no. I have two schedulers working with me. Well, mostly they work, not me anymore on the schedules. I'm just the problem solver right now and the
right,
initiator. If there's
right,
a problem, or I call them and ask my employees, how are you doing and everything, because you need to keep that relationship to keep your employees.
right.
I know all my employees, like we're friends.
Yeah. No, I've
It's
seen that.
important.
I can attest to that. So as a problem solver, what are the problems you're seeing that you're actually solving?
Well, like if the client gets hurt, like if they fell on the bed, it will be surely DPC, it's Department of Health investigation. So we have to make an incident report about it. So when the Department of Health do the investigation, we have all the documentation to show. So like today, there was a call that there were bruises, that the patient had bruises on the arms, and I sent them the caregiver last night.
Mhm.
So, but the bruises are already purple. So when they call, we inform them that it's impossible that it's from him last night. You have to investigate the previous days, because even if it happened last night, it's not going to be a bruise right away. It's not going to be purple. It
Right.
takes time to make it purple. But we also have to interview the employee from last night. How did you handle the patient? So he explained it to us. So he was cleared because it's not from him. So those kind of problem, you have to be ready. Like if somebody complains for abuse, example, then you have to do your duty to interview, send all the proper documentation to the facility again, have the
Right.
employee do a statement on what actually happened. If there's probation for somebody, some employee, then Department of Health will contact me, and I have to watch that particular employee while the investigation is going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have a well-rounded business that from like the marketing angle to the intake angle to the hiring and relationship maintenance of your
Yeah.
staff and nurses, as well as in the end, like the follow-up services, like these problem-solving services. You've covered all the bases
Yeah.
that makes you a solid company, right?
Yeah, but that's why I partner with Power Partners, because I want to expand
Okay.
the OptionOne Care, and
So
I believe that Power Partners can help me with that, with all your connections and everything.
let's talk about that because, like, as a reminder, everybody, Power Partners is a B2B introduction service. We introduce professionals to each other who can provide each other repeat leads and referrals or do business collaboration. We are targeting this podcast, Arlene, to your power partners to bring you more repeat business. Just like you said, I consider myself one of those power partners of you because I have a deep interest in the medical community. I'm learning more about, what you do in medical care, home care, and nursing. I volunteer at Long Beach Memorial. Thank you for sponsoring. You're sponsoring our event on November 3rd at the Ronald McDonald House, where we're feeding 50 families of critically ill children that are there.
Okay,
Well, their
welcome.
families stay there while their children are in the hospital, and they just go across the street and can visit and work and nurse them, whatever they have to do. Yeah, we want to partner with you and educate our connections. I think educating what you do is why we have this podcast, right? Is like
Mhm.
this what we're talking about is not like everyday stuff, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
But the people who are in the industry need to know that you're legit. And this is how we can help with Power Partners and educate our members. And we're also recruiting members who do know more about what you do. Like we have a long-term care insurance person, Jim Better, who you've met, so that
Yeah.
those connections are made. So we definitely want to increase awareness about you. But like, who are you finding now that is giving you repeat business, whether they're facilities or other companies, professional services?
It's a combination, you know. Not I actually stopped like I never had marketing before. I never hired. There's a lot of calls for marketing people, but I never did. I just want to partner with Power Partners and then keep the relationship with the administrators alive. I call them. I send them some Starbucks cards so they can get coffee. I invite them for lunch and all that. So we can like you need to keep them the memory of you.
But
You
right,
always need
but
to have.
who should we keep an eye out for? What types of decision makers are you looking to meet?
Well, for the skilled facilities, memory care, and for the skilled facility, it will have to be like the director of nursing and the administrator. They decide whom they will allow in their facility as vendors.
Hmm.
For memory cares, I think it's more on the activity director and also the DON. For the hospital, it should be the case managers, you know. And then like people like Christine,
Hmm.
who is she does placement. She will have a lot of connections. So she's a good connection for my business because she can refer me patients. And at the same time I can help her too. Because if I know a client who is ready to be placed to a home, then I can refer them to her. And also doctors too, because they they advise the client that you need a care, like if the person have injury and he have nobody to take care of him, then the doctors can say like, okay, you can call this company and call them and ask them, maybe they can help you provide a caretaker at home you know
Right, right. And then, so just to recap, like, in it's like case managers, social workers who
yeah,
know of a
social workers.
discharge should know about you.
Social
The
workers are very important
Yeah,
because mostly they talk to the patient on the, like, whereabouts, where are you going, what help do you need. They help them like find resources for payment or whatever. So they're very important.
okay, all right. And then what kind of leads or resources do you find yourself needing in the course of business, professional services?
you know like somebody like I kind of know the people who are member of Power Partners.
Mhm.
Like if I encounter like a young adult and I know that they will be needing like a long-term care, it's helpful. Lawyers, yes, too. And then mostly like the trust, people like the one who does the trust.
Right.
Because I
Okay.
advise the client, like, you need to do that. Like, it's America.
Yeah, you have to take care of yourself.
You don't
Good.
want your house to be in the
That's good to
probate.
know. Yeah, so that's like Tom DeLeo, who does reverse mortgages,
Yeah.
like Jim Better, who does long-term care insurance,
Mhm.
and we have some trust attorneys as well. So let me ask you just a few more questions. What are you seeing in terms of nurse fatigue or burnout? I know it's a thing. I know that nurses have a lot of stress and pressure on
Oh
them
yeah.
from the doctors and the patients, so they're in the middle. How do you do that with your own employees, and how can you help relieve that, say, stress in some of these facilities?
Well, when somebody reports to me like, yo, she's having a relapse, like not showing up at work. So I call them and then I make sure that I'm gonna take you out from the schedule. You need to make sure that you are relaxed because I have a couple of nurses and they I didn't know in the beginning, but I found out that they keep getting schedules from a lot of registry and they don't actually rest anymore. So there were reports that they fall asleep and everything. So what I do, I feel bad, but I told them I have to do it. I need to take you off from the schedule and I need you to show me that you are well rested before you come back to work. But I don't just like kick them out or anything. I give them a chance, I make them relax. And then we talk. It's always about talking. And I always advise them that you work hard. All your money needs to be put, I mean, you need to relax. And then sometimes we go out, we talk a lot. I always talk to my employees, sometimes 6 hours until 6 in the morning if they are really in despair, broke up with a boyfriend. I have to talk to them till morning just to calm her down because she's at work. So I tell her, okay, anytime you need me after you do the med pass and you're just on your break, or if you really need to talk, then talk to me and I can ask my other nurse to help you there in the facility. So those kind of stuff, you need to listen to them and you need to, I always have this thing that I'm open to them. If you feel like you need to talk, just call me. I'm open. And they do because that's the thing. All my nurses, I kind of build the relationship with them, mostly with the LVNs, the RNs,
Hmm.
and then the CNAs. It's important to gain their respect, that they respect you. They're not scared of you, but they respect you. Respect is very important when you deal with a lot of employees.
Right, because they're representing themselves. They're almost
Yeah,
like
and
independent
then
contractors, but they're also representing you, right?
that's what I always tell them. Remember, it's not just about you, it's about the company you're representing, which is me. If you really have, if you keep on saying that I'm an amazing woman, that you love me and I'm different from the others, then try to not ruin my company with the
R-
agency because
Right,
that's our bread and butter. All of us. All of us rely on that facilities.
right,
You know?
right. So, yeah, I have a lot of respect for nurses and what they do.
Oh,
That
they work a lot.
they,
They do amazing job, and I that's what I was say. When I saw what they do, that's why I mean I realized that it's unfair that I don't like most agencies. They get a lot of cut from their employees,
hmm,
but I realized that most of the money should go to them
right,
because there's the one of working on it. I mean,
sure,
I'm not there. I don't do physical work. And that's why maybe because I don't have the physical ability, but they are amazing. Imagine sometimes they have to deal with a client that punched them.
yeah,
So like, or a client that like brutally attacked them with words.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
they're in um yeah, they have to do a lot. They have to take a lot. That's why I respect what they do, and I don't discount their work. That's why I'm.
Especially the hardest job for me, I think, are the certified nursing assistant because they do a lot of the physical work.
Mm,
They
yeah,
change the patient. They do all the heavy jobs. So
right.
I love them.
Yeah, good,
I
good.
really appreciate them a lot.
Let me think here. I was gonna say something. There's another power partner, Tatanda Grant, that I need to introduce you to, who helps nurses with their careers. Like,
Oh,
she's an executive coach. She helps them with their careers, helps them with the burnout. So you guys
oh,
should
okay.
talk to. Are there any changes in the law or that you have to deal with that are coming up, or with insurance? Like, not say insurance, but like the medical industry is changing a lot.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in the horizon?
Right now, there's no impact really on us because I don't bill Medicare. I bill the facility. Well, it affects me in a way only because sometimes when the Medicare reimbursement is late, then my payment is late. So those kind of stuff. Oh, we haven't received the Medicare. But I don't really see the impact wise on my personal business because I don't bill directly to Medicare.
Okay. All right,
But
good.
maybe with the family, like for the non-medical needs, it will have an effect because, if they don't get too much funding from the government, then it's gonna be tough for the family to pay in-home care.
Right, right. So let me ask you, for like anybody wanting to know more about home care services, these are non-medical
Uh-huh.
professionals. What are the three most important things they should take away in working with Option One?
Well, we're here. We have a personalized service. You don't talk to a machine or something. We answer it. That's really important that you talk to a live person because most of the agencies now you deal with no.
Mm.
That's why I'm totally against the app. Like, and then they can have a guarantee that if we say that we will care for them on a 24/7 basis or even like 8 hours, that we will have somebody in there. And third, I can say that I will only provide a compassionate caregiver who will really take care of their loved ones without hurting them or something, and they are properly trained to take care of them, whatever scenario they might be in, whatever level of care they have to be.
Okay, perfect. And then for anybody wanting to know more about nurses in your nursing registry, what are the three most important things they should take away there?
Well, that my nurses are very lovely and well skilled. That's mostly it's all about my nurses, and we have the very competitive price. We're actually one of the lowest ones in the market. And also, we are very, very lenient. I'm the only one who doesn't charge late fee on the facility.
What are the common reasons, or what are examples that why people need home care services? In other words, like a social worker, somebody's doing a discharge, or just like I've given you a referral to somebody who says
Uh-huh.
their elderly parent needs some assistance or
Yeah.
they need respite, right?
Yeah.
What are examples that we should keep in mind why they need to give you a call for home care services?
Well, first of all, when a social worker tells you, or if it's by mom example, if a social worker tells me that I need somebody to help my mother, then it's for my peace of mind. Because you don't want to leave them alone in the house thinking that they'll be okay because anything can happen.
Mhm.
So they should call me if they want safety for their parents or loved ones. So, yeah,
What other kind of physical problems that somebody have where home care would be needed?
like falling down and then not finding out until somebody cannot find them anymore or she's not responding to a call. I know there's a lot of gadget now, like for the elderly, and to help them, and they need even for companion. That's really important when you're sick to have somebody to talk to and just that's why I always ask, what does your parent, do they hate people who talk too much, or they just want to be talking and you just need a listener, or do they want a conversationalist person so they get, example, my father-in-law, he likes to be in a conversation, so we have to do that too, and we have to remind the caregiver, okay, when you go there, he doesn't want somebody who talks too much, so only talk when he wants a conversation.
What are the common reasons why people need home care services?
Safety, first of all, for their safety and physically, they need help and a companion so they can be in a better mood. And when you're a sick person like me, I get sick all the time. It's important for me to have somebody there to give me positive attitude.
Yeah, it's very important. I do that by text.
I'd rather do that in person. So I recall it. And that's why a lot of the elderly, they don't want to stay in a facility. Sometimes they want to stay in their house and get in-home caretaker because it's different. Those It's true what they say in the movie when they are stubborn and they don't want to be in a home because they want to stay in their houses
Yeah.
because it's different sometimes. Yeah.
What are some of the common myths or misconceptions about home care or nursing registries that you find that you have to dispel during a conversation.
Yeah, they always say that it's not worth it. The price that we're charging it's mostly about money. They know they need help, but they refuse because budget is an issue.
Hmm.
That's the
But they run the risk of falls and
yeah.
more.
Yeah. And that's where it works for the big facilities too. Sometimes they understaff because of the budget. They want to make money and everything.
Right.
But the facility suffers. When the health department goes there and find out you're understaffing, you get penalized. And then the risk of patient like having an accident, it's not worth it. That's why there's a season that they will stop getting registry because they said it's too expensive. But then they come back because they
Right.
need us. That's why when they stop getting from us, the facility, we don't ask why because we know that they will come back.
What are the words, phrases, or conditions that lead to direct referrals for you? Yeah. But what would we hear? In my case, I heard, yeah, my elderly dad needs help getting driven around or things like that. He's, he needs help bathing or getting in and out of
Uh-huh.
the.
Yeah, like those kind of stuff or companionship just
Mm.
to help him go to. I have a client that is 2 hours a day only just to get to McDonald's, to the bank, you know,
Yeah.
just to drive them around or take them to appointments. Like they have to go on a week on a trip to Minnesota and they just need somebody for 7 days. So what we talk about is 8 hours of work plus, but the caregiver, it's kind of hard for her to be driving back and forth. It's too far. So
Yeah.
we met in the middle that the caregiver will stay there, but she will only work 8 hours. So, it's kind of stuff that just to work it. I mean, it's important that we as an agency it's all about relationship at the end of the day. Because if there's no relationship, they can easily switch to some other agency. Because the contract is like two-way contract. We can cancel it if we can handle it, or they can cancel it with the proper notice.
Right. So, okay, anything else you want to add?
I mean, just to say that in our brochure, we always keep it personal. We take our business personal. So you can rest assured that we will take care of your loved ones.